Sometimes we're doing something for the last time and have no idea. Other times, we know full well we are doing it for the last time. Among the video footage I found on my old camcorder memory cards of the Shenandoah and Western, the since-demolished layout of the Winchester Model Railroad Club in Winchester, Virginia, I found a clip of the final time I ran my two Pennsylvania Railroad H10 280s around the layout together. This was filmed after the first night Winchester open house of 2018. I had stayed late after the open house to film some trains on the layout. Much of that video footage was featured in Scenes from a Lost Layout. I had already staged several run-bys of this train, but I decided to finish my filming with a handheld continuous video following the train around the layout. This was the way I usually ran these locomotives. I now share this video with the world as it happened. Without further ado, here it is. Alright, the date. December 31st, 2018, the time 11:29 p.m. The last open house for the Winchester Model Railroad Club wrapped up approximately 1 hour ago. No one else is here. I've got a fair bit of cleaning up to do, get my own equipment off the layout. This point, everything is accounted for except for one CSX boxcar. 8022 and 8014 Pennsylvania Railroad H10 S-Class consolidations. Probably the two more reliable steam locomotives I have, and definitely the two most powerful. I'm lined up right now with approximately 25 cars, poised and ready for the Mountain Division. Track warrant is copied. Brake continuity test complete. And firemen are building up their fires, just waiting for the word go. This is the final doubleheader. Clearing Kinnaman Yard. Clearing Kinnaman. C.P. Gore and the Sand Mine. Pardon that. C.P. Hayfield, C.P. Hayfield. Now the train is entering the long tunnel, which also contains one of the steepest grades on the railroad, and of course it's right under everything. It'll be a moment or so before it re-emerges. Bear with. Over there we see the bustling metropolis of Winchester, the Winchester Station, Winchester Yard, the locomotive servicing facilities. Nice little old coal mine, classic scene. Station marks Montpelier. Roto dump facility. The intermodal yard. Yeah, train's now passing the yard for Dawson Steel. Decent sized facility. And then it'll be climbing the last major hill, the base of which is right here. Almost there. Almost home. Just now passing the locomotive shops, always under a rainstorm. The intermodal yard. 2 grade crossings. Passing the south end of the yard, I believe it is. 718. Your duty's done. Approaching Winchester Yard, coming up on the venerable 2200, probably the most reliable model locomotive I've ever seen in my life. Next to that, 3430 and 3430, twin SD40s, owned by Hollywood. They performed admirably. Next to that, an SD90, SD80 pair, also Hollywood's. On the other side of that, we see 1432, a locomotive that went out hauling beer and cigars. And beyond that, the two workhorse GP38s. One long whistle blast, all stop. And there you have it. Final doubleheader on the Mountain Division for the Shenandoah and Western Railroad. Well, of my making anyways. Pennsylvania Railroad H10 S-Class engines 8022, 8014. At this point, all that's left is for them to put their cars back in the yard. All on con system, put them back in their boxes, put everything back in its boxes. And the time is now 11:44, New Year's Eve. It's going to take me longer than 15 minutes to pack up, so 2019 will roll in as I'm shutting down. Happy New Year, folks. I spent a good chunk of the rest of that evening packing my trains back into their boxes. When midnight rolled around, I grabbed a throttle and welcomed 2019 with a whistle salute from the H-10s. 8022 did run on the layout a couple more times, including my true final run on the Shenandoah and Western, in which 8022 wrestled the sandhoppers from the Gore sand mine back to the main yard. The next few weeks saw the beginning of the layout's demolition. At the end of 2019, I started the process of joining the Northern Virginia Model Railroaders in Vienna, Virginia. 8022 was the first locomotive of mine to run on the Western North Carolina Railroad. Even then, it was nearly 2 years between the last doubleheader on the Shenandoah and Western and November of 2020 when 8014 and 8022 ran together on the Western North Carolina for the first time. It had been a long time, but they were running together once again. As we enter a new year, some of us may be feeling like we're at the end of something, or that an era is over. It may feel like the end, but you're still here. Carry on, my friends, and make this year what you want it to be. It's a big year laying before us, and there's plenty of room for you in it. Let's make things happen this year. Nothing is the end unless you make it so.